Hello, hello, hello. Welcome on in to another Skyblock Kingdom stream. Hello all, hello all. Welcome on in. How are we doing today? How's it going? We got no Wi-Fi, first time chatter, welcome on in. Flo Gojo, we got Brother, thank you for the lurk. Water Ghost, welcome on in. Nexus Doodles, Okami Fan, Andy Unicorn, Kevin Ray, Albie with the bonk. How's it going, everybody? Welcome on in. How are we doing today? We're gonna chill until the ad break ends. How's it going, Rose Wolf? Welcome on in. We're here just chill maxing. Honestly. Oh, my lord. That made me jump a little bit, but of course, it wouldn't actually properly get me. It was loud, though. I'm not doing so good. I had, like, so much stuff to do, and I'm just the depiction of not caring. Oh, that sucks. Yep. Invalid. Thank you for the hydrate. There's so many noises there. There was just so many noises there. Yes, nice chill stream, just noises. Please call me Val. Oh, Val, okay. Thank you, Val, for the hydrate. And Rosewell, thank you for the 5 gifted subs to Nepture's Apprentice, Rose Phoenix, Alora Minty, Blizzy Chan, and JH Quest 87. You all now have gifted subs. But yeah, how are we doing today? How's everyone's middle of the week going? My week just started. Like my work week just started. Sick. No! I am relatively certain we've already hit spring or getting close to it because the temperature has increased. Like we had 1 week where it snowed and it stuck for a little bit, and then now we're like not barely getting any snow, and it's like getting warmer and warmer. Stream was very scuffed. That happens. I've had some super scuffed streams. I still sometimes have super scuffed streams. Sometimes my streams end in me having to just end because my PC decides to not be cooperative, or my internet decides to not be cooperative. That's just how it be sometimes. You also have to know your PC's limits, because sometimes your computer just can't handle being able to encode a stream alongside try to, you know, run a game. It's just how it be. This literally still frames half the time. Yeah, that's just how it be sometimes. You're gonna... The thing about streaming gaming is you're either gonna want to stream like a console game, like get yourself a capture card and like stream like Nintendo Switch stuff, or you know, try to stream pressure. Yeah, probably that. There's still snow. I haven't had in-person school in about 2 weeks. Oh, dang. Yeah, we've had the exact opposite here. For some reason, our winter is just dry. Dry and dry and dry. We get little bits of snow, and then it just stops snowing. It's like cold for a bit, so the snow sticks a little bit, and then it gets warm enough that it melts. Then even when it does get colder, the snow doesn't come, so it's just cold and miserable. You're into nap, however, it's already 9 p.m., so it wouldn't be a nap, it would be bedtime. Yeah, that's fair. If you need to sleep, you know. But yeah, Legs is working on a bunch of stuff over here. And we're going to continue gathering resources, because that's all I have energy to do. I don't have brain power to actually work on stuff. We might just do some fishing in a little bit. Me in mid-Arizona, what is snow? Yeah. Arizona is quite the place. I don't think I could ever live in a place like Arizona. I would just die. Like, sure, you guys probably have like amazing AC, but like, if I ever had to go outside, I would just die. Hello, everyone. How are you? Fine, thank you. I know the stream was up. Yep, we're here. Our regularly scheduled stream time. And we're just gonna do some villager trading. And chatting, because that's all I have the energy to do today. So yeah, I watched Iron Lung again, right guys? And oh my god, watching it again made me realize just how insanely well done it is. The first time I really wasn't sure what to expect out of the movie because I never played the game before, and I never like I never really followed anything about the movie, like even up until release. All I knew was that it was going to be a 3-theater release, and then it went to 50, and then it went to 2,000, then to 4,000, and then the first week was only supposed to be 1 week, but then now it's going to be 2 weeks, so I'm going to see it again with friends, like Saturday. And honestly, the first time I was watching it, I didn't even know that what I was supposed to pay attention for, so like, it was a little confusing at first. And then I watched it the second time, and then all the little things that led up to, like, the ending, like, blew my mind. Like, all the people saying it's bad, it's boring, it's tedious, it's whatever. My God, just get off TikTok. I know that's not, you gotta get off TikTok and start paying attention. You know, that whole thing. But, like, seriously. You kind of have to have patience. It doesn't spell everything out for you, nor does it answer some of your questions, but it, you know, creates such an interesting atmosphere that it makes you ask questions and come up with theories and makes you use that little thing in your head. I know it's really tiny, but it's there. Use it. Maybe it'll grow 3 times. What's this Iron Lung thing? It's a movie by our Markiplier, the guy the silly guy who screams at horror games. He made a movie and it's freaking great. Something scary to have though. So yeah, that is true. Their new terms of service just is extremely like invasive to a point of like, oh, this is almost it's almost as bad as almost every other U.S. Company that's like just straight up spyware at times. It's almost like we're being surveilled 24/7 either way. So it's like, holy crap. Keep up, guys. It's just how it is. Like all of a sudden it gets acquired by us, and suddenly it gets even worse in terms of spyware. It's almost like that's just how it is. Oh man, I should stop talking. Guys, I want to live. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm very happy with myself. I have no problems. I'm planning on visiting my old theater professor to chat with him about his opinions on it because I have no friends who like that existential genre of movie. Yeah, I was very worried that, like, when I saw the mixed reviews, I was like, oh my God, what are other people going to think of it? My friends going to think of it. And then, holy crap, it's been just amazing. It's been, like, talking with, like, I literally legit want to talk about it more, but I know some people have not been able to watch it. And I don't want to spoil it, especially for my brother in chat because he wants to watch it. But, like, holy crap. Like, it's such an interesting, like, atmosphere, right? Because, like, you have this sort of, like, post-apocalyptic world, but it's done in such a unique way because there's a bit of a cosmic horror element to it, as well as just, like the idea of, like, how human nature just continues to be the way it is despite the events that occur. Like, this sort of apocalyptic universe, there's something that happens. This is just the background for the story, so this is not really getting into spoiler territory. It doesn't say anything that happens in the movie and what gets revealed in the movie. But basically, the basic premise is this, is that there's this, there's this event known as the Quiet Rapture. And basically what happens is there's a bunch of people, a lot of people on space stations, on space colonies that are, you know, just you know, trying to progress human evolution. And all of a sudden, all radio contact and all life just suddenly vanishes out of nowhere. Like, all the stars go out, you know, all contacts with, you know, humans on planets like Earth and Mars suddenly just cease. And then they can't find the places, and they don't know what happened to all the people and all the planets, all the people on the planets. But they discover in their research, trying to figure out what the heck happened, they discover these moons that are just filled with oceans of blood. And they're very confused because it seems to be human blood, and it hasn't solidified, it doesn't dry up, it remains in a liquid state. So they're trying to survey these blood oceans to figure out what the heck is going on. But it's a very dangerous place, so they send convicts who are basically condemned by this collective called the Consolidation of Iron, that are basically sending these convicts in these ships called the Iron Lung, that are basically just tombs. They get welded in, they're never going to escape, but they get told, oh, if you do this, you might get your place in the consolidation, you know, type beat. But in reality, they're not gonna survive. It's a death trap, you know, and there's no way out. They designed these things really rickety. There's no way to, like, there's no recovery, like, sort of thing. So, this sort of idea is like, you're basically in the game, you're kind of just there trying to survey these areas, and by the end of the game, you're just dead. You're just dead. But that was the basic premise of the game, and it's sort of the lore of the game. And it's really interesting because you kind of try to figure out, like, what the heck happened to all the people, what happened to all the life. When you explore this blood ocean, you find signs of life, but you don't know whether it's something that was there before or something that was put there by some eldritch horror, this Lovecraftian eldritch horror that has put it there. Was this quiet rapture just something man-made, or was it something done by some sort of vengeful god? And that's the crazy thing. It's the theorizing is crazy. I think it's so silly how you're hopping in this pattern in game. It's like simming, but Minecraft. Yeah, that's just what I do when I have to talk about something and I have nothing else to do. I'll be curious not for their friends' opinions on movies. I will continue to make friends watch movies with me. Was always going to be a group hangout because we all like Mark. Yeah. Actually, Albie needs to get their friends to watch Event Horizon because I did put it on, but they were all very locked in a game at the time while Albie watched it, but Albie's very fine with parallel play. Yeah. Like the justice system. Do they have an actual iron lung, like the thing that helped? No. It's just kind of a nickname for it because it's a box of iron, and you've got like a limited amount of oxygen, and you're surrounded by blood, and blood has oxygen in it. So that sort of is kind of like the play on words there. So it's like an iron. This is your iron lung. This is your oxygen. You have an oxygen meter in the game, and it has 4 bars. And I don't know what happens when you actually run out, because I've watched Mark's playthrough, and he dies before he runs out. Pretty sure most of the game lore was actually added after via terminal that had yeah. But like that's kind of like I don't know. I guess the lore isn't the basic premise, but the lore kind of makes the world so interesting to think about. Getting blood in your lungs is bad. Hemothorax bad, yeah. Where can I even watch it, please? I'm not sure. I know it's available. It's starting to become available at a lot more places. Like, I'm pretty sure Australia does have it. I'm pretty sure New Zealand has it. Pretty sure, like, the UK has it. I'm pretty sure some parts of France and, like, other places have it. And obviously America does. But yeah, it's been getting more of a widespread release after the success of the first weekend. Like, it nearly beat a 20th Century Fox film, basically Disney film, directed by Sam Raimi, which Sam Raimi, if you all know Sam Raimi, he is a titan. He made the first three the Sony Spider-Man movies, and those were my childhood. So obviously Sam Raimi has a special place in my heart. But dear God, I want Markiplier to beat Sam Raimi. I'm sorry, Sam Raimi. I love your movies, man, but I need a win for indie filmmaking. Please, streaming. I think it might be streaming. I think I'm gonna get the Blu-ray release though, for sure, just to have in my collection, because it's another thing of like, I want to support this movie as much as possible, because it'd be really cool for filmmaking to be able to expand outside of Hollywood, because it feels like it's been incredibly limited by the Hollywood system, and Hollywood has a lot of weird and bad people in it, and I would like filmmaking to grow beyond that sort of negative atmosphere. Is the DVD release confirmed? Yes, they're actively working on a DVD and Blu-ray release. Watch Mark upload the entire film to YouTube. He might. I don't know what he's gonna do. They show ironing lungs on a screen. That's not what I said. What does society come to? I love physical media. I need to eat it. Yeah, physical media is always what I want. I really want to get my, because I have my PS4 still, and that's basically a glorified Blu-ray player for me at this point. I don't play games on it anymore. I want to plug that in, and I want to start collecting Blu-rays again, because I love Blu-rays. I love like watching movies on Blu-ray. But yeah, I should start trading. Maybe that's something we should do. I've been yapping about this movie that's been amazing. But yeah, it's really interesting. Like the funny thing, I made a joke. I forgot who I said it to, but like I was concerned whether a movie where a man spends a single location for 2 hours just talking to himself and talking to an intercom. I was worried that it would get boring. I was worried that it was going to be boring, but I was worried it was going to be boring, but thinking about it, I've been watching Markiplier in a room screaming at video games for like 15 years. So why would this be any different? Maybe not 15 years, like 12 or 13 years. I was worried that like it would drag on, and there would be it would like not work as well. Like it wasn't like a huge concern. I was like, this could probably entertain me enough. But when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, wait a minute. That's what Markiplier's been doing his whole career. So of course he can make it entertaining. I heard internal monologue. I heard mental decline in fiction. I heard existential horror. Still, guys going crazy with the sound of their own voice. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I do. I literally just talk to myself. I use different voices. I go like, yes, you are a problem. Wait, me? I'm a problem? What do you mean I'm a problem? You're a pain in my you're just really annoying. I'm annoying. You are. And that's just what I do. You know, I realize I don't think I've ever done that 331 voice without the filter. This is how it sounds like. This is how it sounds like without the filter. Guys, we should put Megan Iron Lung. That would be, it would be so cool to have like an Iron Lung like Minecraft map thing. Be cool to have that, because you could very easily do that, because really what you would probably want to do is like you would like have the levers and the coordinates would show up. The actual Iron Lung itself would be stationary, and then when you hit the button for the X-ray to see out, you would have just like an armor stand that has like a camera and then maybe display. I don't know. But seriously, like, what is this Iron Lung thing? I'm so confused. Keep up. All right, so Iron Lung is basically this. Well, there's a movie about it now by Markiplier. It is the original thing was a game made by an indie developer that was you're put into this submarine, which is completely encased in iron. You're welded in shut. You're a convict, and you're surveying a blood ocean, and you're trying to find clues of why the heck humanity disappeared. That's the basic premise. And throughout the game, you find some weird stuff in this blood ocean that shows signs of life, but it also shows some sinister cosmic horror that might be lurking throughout. He makes movies? Dude. Oh my god. Well, like, he's made short films before, and he's done like a bunch of stuff for that sort of scene. So yeah, he is a filmmaker. He's been a filmmaker. Which Skyhead would be the most likely to cause another Skyhead to do a pillow scream? I think Legs and I both give each other pillow scream moments. Iron Mig. He has since when? A date with Markiplier, a heist with Markiplier, in space with Markiplier. Sure, they're like first person type things, but like he's done little short films before. He's like literally he did it. He literally started YouTube to do like little bits of filmmaking and have fun with it and do creative things. Yeah, and he was in Edge of Sleep that's on Amazon Prime. Like he literally he's done acting before. This is not like an entirely new endeavor for him. It's just his first feature film. It's his first feature film, which means a film that is longer than 90 minutes. And it's also his first theatrical release. So it's his first movie to actually go to cinemas around the world. Mainly in America, but there are places around the world that have been showing Iron Lung. I need Amazon Prime login. 7 stream streak. Yeah, Edge of Sleep is a TV series. Yeah, it's a TV series. Only thing I know about him is that the bite of 87? Interesting. Yeah, I guess it's just, like, Markiplier has been a staple of the content creator sphere for so long that I kind of just expect people to know at least a little bit about him. That's my own fault, I guess. But, like, he's been doing this for so long that it's just kind of become second nature to me. He's been actually doing this stuff for a while. I've watched some of his stuff. Like, he has shown his like ability to do acting. So it's like when I see him actually acting well, it's not purely a surprise for me, but it had been so long too since I've seen him act in anything that like I still could it was hard for me initially to separate Markiplier from the convict, the person that he plays. But after a while, it's kind of like I almost completely forgot I was watching a movie being acted by Mr. Scream, funny, silly, screamy horror game guy. Yeah, I grew up watching his stuff. Albie has listened to the Edge of Sleep podcast during their podcast story. My question is, how did he have to untrain looking at the camera because he's a CC, you know? I mean, it's probably just a case of he's done this before. Like he's not like he's like an amateur, but like I guess the thing is when we talk about amateurs, we kind of think of it as in a negative sense. But amateur is kind of just like the stepping stone to being a professional. Amateur is like, you know what you're doing in some sense, but you still have a ways to go, you know? So he's like, he's an amateur, like, actor, but that's a compliment in the sense of like, he knows what he's doing enough to be able to not make those like super silly mistakes like looking into the camera. And I'm certain he did that. Like, filmmaking takes a long time. It's a long and arduous process. You can spend anywhere from like maybe a couple hours to like 12 to 16 hour days depending on schedules, because you have to make sure you can get everybody together, know how long you have for everybody, and sometimes you have to kind of, there's sometimes crunch time. So like, yeah, there's probably plenty of mistakes. There's hours of footage probably that had to be combed through to get the right take, because you do multiple takes whenever you do acting. Like even me, when I record my voice lines for you know, the lore bits for my videos, I do multiple takes, you know? And sometimes the first take is perfect, sometimes the second take is the best, sometimes the last take is the best, you know? So, no context, is this about Iron Lung? Yes, I've been yapping about Iron Lung for the past 30 minutes. I can't stop talking about it. But yeah, like the process of filmmaking is so interesting to me, and that's why this is another reason why I don't think AI will ever take hold of that, is because the process is just as interesting as the execution itself. Like, even if you make a bad movie, when you think about the process, like you'll never get these, if you completely replace filmmaking with AI slop garbage, you will never get the interesting stories about days on set of like funny things happening. You'll never get blooper reels. Like, who doesn't want blooper reels? I love blooper reels. That's like every time I purchase a movie, like not just like watch it on streaming, whenever I purchase a movie and it has like the extras, I always look for bloopers, because those are the best, because it makes the process of it still feel human. Sometimes half of the first take and the second half of the eighth take is the best. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And obviously there's like ADR and stuff. There's so many layers to the process of filmmaking that, like, that's the other thing, is like it can't be just done by one person, because there's people who specialize in audio, video, effects, like sometimes it's specifically photography, how you frame the camera in certain scenes, you know. Obviously actors, you know, do their best acting specifically. The Toy Story 2 bloopers are entirely fabricated, right? Yeah, probably. Like, not... Well, I mean, it could be said that some of them could be actual real bloopers, possibly. Like, I think there's some that are definitely takes that the animators just created animations for to kind of make them make sense in the world, but like, I get, yes, those bloopers probably could be entirely fabricated. I don't know, but like real life movies, you know. I love watching Office bloopers. Yes, Office bloopers are the best. It's crazy to me. I don't know how like people they get through their days like shooting like shows like The Office, like how they did it, because like holy crap, It doesn't know about the Barbie movie bloopers, which to some extent are real due to the mocap used. Movies need to include credit bloopers again. Yes, exactly. Or Oppenheimer? Wait, you haven't? You didn't watch Oppenheimer? Fair enough, I guess. It's really good for a movie where people just walk and talk most of the time. I will say the only criticism I have about that movie that kind of drags it down a lot is the nuke does not look like a nuke. It does not look like a nuke at all. And it sucks because you build up to this moment where like, oh my god, they're gonna do the Trinity test and everything. Oh my god, it's gonna be so insane. And it's just kind of like a gas bomb explosion. Like the flash is cool and the sound design is amazing, but then you look at the visuals and I'm like, that doesn't feel nuclear to me. And I think that's one of those cases where like CGI would have been fine in like to some extent. Yeah, I haven't seen those either, but I want a box set of those during a White Elephant in high school. I would, but I definitely don't have it anymore. I think I re-gifted it to one of my friends. Ah, dang. That's unfortunate. Walk and Talk, Lord of the Rings? You can't be serious. You can't be serious. Lord of the Rings? You're telling me Lord of the Rings? Yeah, there's a lot of walking and talking, but there's so much action in Lord of the Rings. You're definitely, you can't be telling me that you're comparing Lord of the Rings to Oppenheimer. Those are two entirely different beasts. Walk and talk? Yeah, there's definitely a lot of walking and talking, but there's also a lot of walking and talking in other movies too. Dude, I will not take Lord of the Rings slander in this household right here, in this chat right here. Cease immediately. Lord of the Rings is one of the greatest trilogies that mankind has ever produced. 116 OG Power movies. You have no idea of the Kale lore. This only scratches the surface. I've heard some of the Kale lore. Some of the Kale lore actually goes crazy. Lord of the Rings is proof that sometimes tell, don't show is better than show, don't tell. I think show, don't tell is poisonous to filmmaking. Because I think it bars people from actually writing good exposition. Because I think good exposition could be just as powerful as show, don't tell. I think what it has to be is don't just reveal everything in an explanation. Have some mystery to it, but like, you don't, you know, show, don't tell is woke propaganda. Those are Albie 61 and Leon in Magic of Pegasus. What's his face? I learned how to play the Shire theme on cello when I was younger. Nice. Never seen Lord of the Rings and haven't been able to join the Elfie server watch. Ah, dang. You definitely should. Lord of the Rings, I think for me personally though, Lord of the Rings is great for me because it has this especially Aragorn, because it's a lot of it is about masculinity, but in the positive sense, like what masculinity can be good for, where it's like tenderness, confidence, but caring, you know, not shying away from those emotions, having the strength to move forward, but not like ignoring how you feel about things. And that's what's great for me about Lord of the Rings, is that it's like one of those movies that actually like make me feel good about being a man. You know, there's a lot of things that make me feel like, ugh, men. But there's stuff like that is what makes me, this is what I want to be as a man. Men. Yeah, exactly. But like, it's the only gripe with Lord of the Rings is they kill off Saruman. We kill off Saruman too early, and thus the scouring of the Shire and the battles in the Shire don't happen. Yeah, that's fair. Why be man when you can be Batman? Yeah, but like, it's one of those stories of like this is how positive masculinity can be, you know, despite a world where, you know, here where like there's a lot of ways that masculinity is used to harm others and to mistreat others and to make someone feel superior to others, you know, when that's not what life should be about. Like, I don't care about being better than someone else. I just want to be me, the best version of me, you know. Mig, who's your favorite character? I need to know. Favorite character in Lord of the Rings, or just like favorite like movie character or TV show character in general? Because I have a lot of answers to that. Should have died near the end of movie 3, not at the start of it. That's fair. I don't think it's the best trilogy. It doesn't make it perfect, but that's fine. I think the problem is like not everything needs to be perfect, and sometimes adaptations don't necessarily match up one-to-one, and sometimes certain things are left out just because, you know, it doesn't translate well into movie, like, because like there's psychological elements to filmmaking that you kind of have to make sure that you remember, because books and movies are two separate mediums, and sometimes certain things work and sometimes other things don't work in like other mediums, you know? Like you could draw out explanations a lot more in a novel compared to a movie where you have a specific runtime. And even with like Return of the King being a 4-hour movie, even in the extended edition, it's like 3 hours and 28 minutes in the like regular theatrical release. But personally, I prefer the extended edition. It's not for everyone. You have 12 hours for a trilogy is insane for sure. But like, oh no, internet lag. That's unfortunate. I'm very sorry. Remember the elf guy? Yeah, I think Aragorn probably is my favorite. Although Samwise is a really good character. I think he's kind of misunderstood a lot of time. Mixed edition is far better. Yeah. Obviously, theatrical releases, the thing is, like, you have to work with these, like, movie companies, and they're like, they want to sell more tickets. And the longer your movie is, the less tickets you sell, because that means the longer the time, you know, that the movie is running, and that's less seats, less time in between. Then it is just more opportunities to watch. Yeah. It definitely allows more moments to breathe as well, which is something that I really like. Like, I like long and slow movies. Some people don't, but, like, those are my favorite type of movies. Because, like, especially when they know how to hold your attention despite the slowness. Like, obviously, there's boring movies that just lead to nothing and don't really capture your attention in the first place, and that's nothing to do with attention spans. That's just bad filmmaking and maybe bad writing. But when you have a movie that knows how to captivate you while just having someone doing some mundane task like walking around or making a cup of tea. Bunch of Lord of the Rings cast is gonna be a fan expo this year. Oh man, dang. Okay, I want to go to fan expo this year. Not gonna lie. I might want to go to fan expo this year. I do have some costume ideas, and Elijah Wood signature is only 80 bucks. That's expensive, but like compared to some people, like holy crap. I want to meet Elijah Wood. He's, you know, Elijah Wood, like the more clips I see of him, the more I adore that guy. He's insane. Like me. Like he's a weirdo, and I love it. Because every clip I see of him, he's just like wide-eyed and making some silly, goofy noise. I don't know if any of y'all see the clips of him. I have not done any trading. I've just been yapping. This has been yap stream. Let's just fish. Let's just fish. Might as well just fish. There was like this wired Google search, and he's like, is Elijah Wood Spider-Man? And he doesn't answer the question. He just goes, like he does this weird laugh, and it's like the funniest thing ever. Did a Lord of the Rings location tour in New Zealand with the extra from Lord of the Rings. That's a guy. That's awesome. I would love to visit New Zealand. That'd be really cool. Thank you for the look, Albie. Yeah, let's just fish. Might as well just fish. This is the yap stream. This is the yap stream. Might as well. But yeah, Elijah Wood is definitely one of my favorite actors. Just for his pure chaotic energy whenever I see him in interviews. Will you wear wigs? Vin, will you wear wigs? I cannot recreate Elijah Wood's laugh in that in that interview. This is how I feel about you. Thank you. I'll say Lord of the Rings doesn't do justice how pretty New Zealand is. I mean, I guess real life definitely is more, can definitely be more magical sometimes than the cinema makes it appear, but I still think it's pretty darn magical. But yeah, I guess when you actually experience it around you, it definitely dulls the experience of like watching it on a screen. But I wouldn't fault the movie for that. That's just life. This is so funny to have after that whole debacle. Oh wait. Hey, who are you? Hey, it's Mikey. Hey, it's Mikey. How you doing, Mikey? You're getting real close to the edge there. You're making me nervous, man. Yeah, luckily Mikey's still alive. Yeah. Wait, are they making another Lord of the Rings movie? No. I don't. They're just going to Fan Expo. They just do autographs. That's just what they do. They just go. They go to expos. Would you rather witness a Bully Maguire crash out or Elijah Wood Frodo doofus moment? Honestly, that's a hard pick. I don't know. I just my favorite one of my favorite genre of photos is just like Tobey Maguire just staring daggers at paparazzi, just giving them the meanest side eyes. But like I'd probably go with Elijah Wood Frodo doofus moment. Like me personally, because that's just more of who I am. But like I will say the paparazzi does give me Bully Maguire energy sometimes whenever I witness anything. Whenever I see like videos of them harassing like people, like I say people because celebrities are still people, you know. Sure, they're wealthy, but like if I were an actor, I wouldn't want to be approached by just random strangers like taking pictures of me doing groceries. Like I saw this tweet of like, oh, Sam Elliott was spotted doing groceries. Like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, Sam Elliott is a cool actor, but like, why do I care that he's getting groceries? That's just normal people stuff, you know. He's a human being. He does groceries sometimes. He needs food. But like, it makes you think like there's probably a lot of celebrities who just deliver that stuff so they don't have to deal with the hassle, which is kind of dumb. I don't think people should have to like order so they have to avoid other people harassing them. The search for Golem. Oh, I actually didn't know that. What a weird guy, just like me for real. But it puts in phenomenal effort. Yeah. Yeah. I just find filmmaking and movies fascinating. I like watching TV shows too. I think TV shows is definitely one of my more preferred mediums in terms of like getting invested into a large story, because I like being able to spend more time, and I like being able to stew in those like more quiet moments, because I think the thing with movies is you have to find this delicate balance of quiet moments and progressing the plot forward, because you have a more limited runtime to try and invest in the characters. So sometimes that can be a little limiting in some regards, especially when movies are like 2 hours or 1.5 hours. It could be done to an effective degree, of course. So like, I'm not saying that movies are like invalid in that sort of way, but like, I like TV shows because I like to spend time with like characters in movies. I Show Speed literally shuts down street blocks. I can't imagine the amount of people he has to deal with in his day. Exactly. I wouldn't want to be that. I wouldn't want to be that type of famous. I would like to make stuff, have people enjoy it, and then go outside and have no one recognize me. Like maybe like the odd person here and there, and as long as they're respectful, you know. Like I'd be so down for someone just like if I were ever to have any sort of like major success in my life, like this is an if scenario. I don't think it's gonna happen, but like, you know, the odd, like, hey, I like your stuff. You know, that'd be cool. Like, you know, like I'd be down for like maybe a picture, but like if you're like bothering me while I'm hanging out with a friend, I'm like, no. But like I'd prefer to not be known by the general public. I'm gonna go to the Mig's house and be like, oh my god, are you the Mig of Skyblock Kingdoms fame? And then dox him. Oh my god. I'm always a little worried about that because like I know Viking got recognized while he was doing groceries once. He said he got recognized once, and I'm like, oh my god, there are people in this immediate era that like that are aware. I know some people are aware of where I am and are keeping it quiet because they're respectful, and I like that. Thank you. But I just am worried about that one person that's just gonna go, oh my god, Mig is here, and then that means this person's here, because like it's no secret that some of us are like close to each other. So like knowing where one of us is knowing where a lot of us are. Viking scary, yeah. And anybody who knows the lore of like specifically me, Kale, and Viking know that like there's a reason why like we're actually so close around each other a little bit. But yeah, despite my best efforts, Viking and Avid have made it very difficult to keep my location private. I mean, I think Viking has definitely done a more decent job at like trying to keep it secret. But Avid, he's just like, oh, I'm from this state. Hey, so hi Meg, decided to switch and watch you for a bit, take a break from Legs Subathon. Well, I see that Legs is doing lockdown protocol, and part of me wanted to join, but I'm like, I'm just not. I don't have that sort of chaotic energy right now. I might be delirious. Did a really good job for a long time. Oh man, yeah. Yeah. Forgot that famous I'd simply make a reason to cancel a starting beats. I don't think I would go that far. I would never want to ruin my own success. I would just be a lot more careful about where I am, what I'm saying and what I'm doing. like if I were to get that famous, like I would just make good use of it. Is what I would do. Like I would leverage my position, like I would leverage my fame to actually get good things done, you know, that type of thing. So like, cause like when you get into certain situations, they won't ever be super ideal. Oh, nice. Unbreaking 3. Band of Arthropods 4 sucked, but Unbreaking 3 is cool. In my defense, you just had the vibes. They confirmed it though. Using that one time you blinked green on screen to pinpoint your exact location. Avid is insane. You did even better than Viking because Woo Viking was bad at the start. I mean, for a while I had people try to guess where I lived and they were never even close. That reminds me, it's really funny because you showed me a map of like multiple different places and you asked me to find your hometown, and I just randomly guessed it. I just pulled it. That was really funny. I still remember that. Well, but in the subathon stream, they're tired and I need a break from the two same voices over and over. Oh, that's fair. I think I had a part in Viking getting better at it because I brought it up to him when we lived together. Yeah, exactly. I wasn't, you know, that after becoming an SBK mod, I deleted the message he sent a year ago because it fully doxed his town. Yeah. Yeah, but I haven't lived there in years. Yeah, that's true though. Yeah. I just thought it was funny that like, You just showed me a map of like a couple different places, and then just asked me to guess. There were like 6 places on that map, and then it. I don't know. I just thought it was really funny that I just kind of binked it. Hey, it's fine to have a break. Some 6 or maybe 7. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Ah! I swear. Legs. Legs needs to light things up better. Legs needs really desperately. I need him to light things up better. Like, actually. I'm going to tell him to reinstall Mini HUD. I'm going to threaten him. I'm going to threaten him to reinstall Mini HUD. Should I go tell him that? No, don't go yelling at him in chat. Only I get to yell at Legs, okay? It's a me exclusive privilege. It's a me exclusive privileges. I get to yell at Legs and no one else. And maybe a couple of other people. Only his friends, though. We do a little trolling. Pepe Jetta. I have to I switched to browser and I haven't reinstalled all the stuff for the emotes yet. Oh, I forgot what they're called, the plugins. Check DMs in 39 seconds. Can't wait for a memoir about Mig to come out and how I got doxxed. Oh no. Albie's really bad about their location. However, Mukban tried to assign me as Florida and Albie is not unhinged like the newspapers. Add that to the reason for divorce. Exactly. Oh? What are you showing me? I wouldn't yell, just chat once and ask him to please check the trees. I will yell at him. Oh, that's sick. I might try that out. I might try that out at some point. Kale. That'd be really funny to see. Yeah. It must be Jupiter related. I thought leaves are non-spawnable. They aren't. However, when jungle trees generate, the branches sometimes have spawnable spaces on them, like here. So these trees, all of these, and then new building. Yeah, exactly. See what I mean? This what I mean? Mr. Lagundo. Kale just showed him a picture of like Jack Black or something in the caption, act interested under it. That would be really funny, but it's actually something really cool that I might actually check out that could be made use of in my lore sequences. That's all I'm saying. Kale visited the big red spot probably. I have doxing himself is the only reason why I've made my state known. He threw me off. Why in my town no one lives here? Otherwise really good about staying private. It's MIG content related. It's a tool that could be used. It's a surprise tool that will help us later. The partner therapy session. I don't think that would help. I think I'd space out and then he would talk about how this is all a story in a game. And then we would get nowhere. You could totally show chat, become a React Andy. Okay. Well, okay. I don't know if I want to pull up a video. I have to change a bunch of settings because I don't have that. I don't have my browser's like audio set up, so I don't want to mess with that right now. But it's essentially a machinima mod that you can make some animations in Minecraft. It's a Minecraft mod. I don't know what it is, but I'll check it out later. lurking chat earlier. Kale's trying to tell you something with that Mig, as in make Iron Lung Mig real. Oh my god. Lovey some animation. That could be useful. I have some, look, all I'm saying is I am planning for the finale of Skyblock Kingdom Season 2 to be like an hour to an hour and a half long. And I have this crazy idea. It probably won't work. It probably is really dumb for me to try to do this. But I was thinking of doing a little thing known as a crossover event. And my brain went to extreme lengths to try and figure out how I could do this. But let's just say that there's going to be a lot of last survival in Skyblock Kingdom's finale in some way. Planning to split an atom? Yeah. Movie? Into the Migverse? Yeah, all I'm saying is I have plans. I have the ending basically fully planned out. I've talked to Legs about it. I've talked to a couple other people of how some of my lore is going to go with other people, and there's going to be some crazy stuff. All I'm saying is you probably are going to want to watch Avid and Marm's video, their next video coming out, because it's gonna be really good. All I'm going to say, it's going to be really good. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be really, really good. I haven't seen any of it, but they've shared their plans, and holy crap, things gonna go crazy. Last Survival, my beloved. I am planning on making a Last Survival video before this, so I'm gonna be doing it. I'm gonna probably be doing it mostly off camera. But I'm planning on a Last Survival video going out beginning of March, and it's going to catch everything up, but it's also going to kind of state what plans are going for the future. And a lot of it's going to be really tough to do because I have to get a lot done in a short amount of time. But eventually, I think I've reached a point where I can have like I've achieved a flow state with content creation. I've achieved a flow state. Like, I know what my strengths are. I know what my weaknesses are. I know what I can do in a specific amount of time, and I know what I can't do. And all I'm saying is I've proven to myself that I can get a lot done. I can get so much done. I've made so many Mario Kart videos in this just like January alone, and I made a Mario Kart video. I edited a Mario Kart video on Monday. I basically did 3 days of editing to get that SBK episode done. And oh, there's ads. Sorry about that. Please 918 is going to be relatively okay. I'm not going to say anything story-wise because all I'm going to say is I have an idea. Because I'm going to have a heart attack. So funny and interesting as someone who's never seen 0 SBK episodes. I just haven't, but is around for streams and non-SBK content. Yeah, that's fair. Movie length? You need a movie cover for that? I have ideas. Jeez. That was so loud. Agile, no! Maybe I might need a movie cover for that, but I do have ideas of what I'm going to do. Obviously, the thumbnail is going to be very interesting because I think I'm going to go a lot more cinematic with it. And Kale, I might need your help with that, actually. I might need your help with that. So I'm going to be in touch with you because I want to do something very specific for how I want the thumbnail to look. And I may need your assistance on that. Because you are very good with making thumbnails. The modder show you can make some crazy thumbnails. Ooh, okay. I definitely need to check that out then. But I still want your help a little bit with like the specific photo editing stuff because if you didn't know, guys, Kale's actually really, really, really decent with graphic design. SPK2 finale spoilers, final fusion. Yeah. I'm really excited though, because the parts of the story that I'm diving into in towards the end of SBK season 2, for those who have watched the latest episode, I've been planning all of these things for the story since before the lore stream, is all I'm saying. Like, I did have to do some restructuring, like, but there was a lot of plot points that were like, I had to develop over time because they were kind of just rushed through initially, purely because I didn't think about how long the season was gonna go. So at a certain point, I had to restructure things, and I was like, okay, how can I keep this interesting? So I've made a lot of twists that I've kind of accounted for by making certain things vague at the beginning of the story in terms of the lore stuff. So there's certain things that I just don't explain that are not only going to be explained, but they're going to completely recontextualize the lore stream entirely. So they're also just going to be interesting twists on their own. Hi, what is the stream about? I've never watched your streams before. Well, welcome on in. Is Isa? I don't know how to say your name. How's it going, Wayward Bard? Welcome on in. 2 first-time chatters. Awesome. Yes, I'm talking about my videos and lore, which are going to be extremely confusing for someone who's never watched my streams before. But yeah, I'm just talking about just future plans. That except Vaji, my goat. Yep. I mean, that was always going to be part of it. I wrote that like very early on when I was making the lore document, like very, very early on. That was like one of the first things. I was like, wait a minute. Because the one thing that I made particularly clear is that he was using an axe. And his preferred weapon choice was an axe. And that's also just a personality trait. He just likes axes better. Because he was made after like the combat update. So all of it, like everyone, you know, axes do more damage. For a couple hours and we consume it. See you later, Silver Wolf. Oh, sorry, I didn't see your chat earlier. I'm also decent with it too, but absolutely terrible at organic shapes such as people and dogs. Back from ads. Welcome back. You said I have to have a 9th page of notes. Yeah. I mean, we're just talking about storytelling in general. This has been an interesting journey for me because it's definitely made me think a lot more about how I get from point A to point B. Because whenever I think of creating a story, I always think about a basic plot structure in terms of like beginning, middle, end, and then obviously things in between. But I have to like, the thing is this, it kind of becomes a network. It becomes a web of things because you kind of have to think about where people, you have to first think about where people are at a given time. You got to think about the timeline. You also have to think about you have to think about character motivations. You also have to make sure that like I think plot holes are always inevitable in a lot of ways. Some are more forgivable than others. Like I think you have to make sure you pay attention to things that you've explained that need to have a satisfying conclusion later on. But I don't think everything needs to be. It just has to hit the essentials, and even like you have to make sure you hit the essentials and then make sure that like all that other little stuff is satisfying enough. Some things will just not get resolved fully, especially when you have like this sort of thing. And this is like one of my first times doing this sort of thing. Like, I didn't think it would ever get this far. I didn't ever think it would get this far. in terms of like the story. In fact, I had a completely different vision. You want to know my original vision for the story? Was that, yeah, all the MiGs were going to die. All of them, except for Link MiG. And this was supposed to be the plan for if Pleasantcraft Season 4 started, was that all the other MiGs would be killed by 621. Everyone was going to be gone. And it was just going to be Link MiG versus 621. And I was basically going to do like a Legend of Zelda type dungeon like theme for my base. And I was just going to do a series of dungeons, and then all the people would have to fight my evil self in the end. So yeah, no last survival, you know, nothing about Skyblock. The Skyblock Kingdoms was just going to be a little mini thing, and then it was going to be done. And by that time, it was going to be like, okay, I move on to this, and then the 222 would get killed by 621. That was my original plan, was for it to be an even greater tragedy than it was. But I thought about it, and I was like, that would be stupid. Introduce all these unique and interesting characters just to kill all of them off. That would be stupid. That would be dumb. Gotta try now. Have fun. Bye, Voided. Even thought like a small thing. I thought that would work. Here's a bunch of awesome guys. They're dead. Yeah, that was my original plan. It was stupid. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. But you know what? It's a good thing SBK took off, because it completely changed my plans. If you were wondering why I didn't dive into the lore until episode 5 of Skyblock Kingdom Season 1, is because I had like absolutely no plans to continue it in SBK. SBK was going to be its own self-contained thing, and I was just going to move on from it after the project was done. But then, lo and behold, during my move, I started to realize just how crazy SBK was going, and I was like, okay, my plans are completely shifted now. I have to completely rethink how I'm doing all of this. And then that's where everything took off. Like, that's what it was. SBK Season 1 wasn't meant to have anything crazy. Like, my ending wasn't going to include a bamboo samurai fighting an evil MiG, you know, and doing a final last stand as the world crumbled around them, and making a huge sacrifice for the survival of the MiGs. That was never my intention when going into SBK. SBK was just a fun little project that I was going to do with my buddy Kale. That's all it was. But it turned into something way bigger than that, and I wasn't expecting it. And now we're here. And now we're going crazy about we're all going crazy about lore and like super crazy story stuff. And I'm actually starting to think really deeply about all these things, because like now I'm like really starting to believe, like not like now, but like at a certain point I really started to believe in the story. Like I was actually starting to become super invested in how everything went. And that's why I made the lore document, because I wanted to really make sure that this story was something that was growing and that it had a history behind it that didn't necessarily have to be explained in the content. But when you want to delve deeper, you see all this stuff and it's like, oh, this is cool. There's a whole world to explore. But all the MiGs are not dead. Yeah. How do you change your mind? The current plans are lore and are so awesome. Loving it so far. Some of you may die, but it's not a and that is a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Bamboo the goat. Yeah. The bamboo samurai. I love the bamboo samurai era. That was really awesome. I wanted to stick around and talk lore with you in chat, but I have to sleep on that. No worries. Have a good night. When did we stop fishing? I have no idea. I've just been yapping. I just been yapping. Like I can't. There's just so much I need to say. There's just so much I need to say. I was yeah, but I don't know. Like this whole endeavor too has made me really want to learn more about storytelling in general, like my YouTube recommendations are literally just talking about stories, whether it be a book, movie, TV show, just talking about like character motivations, like, you know, just general like how writing is. Like, I like learning about cinematography. You know, I don't watch them all the time, but I do like to watch Corridor Crew from time to time to talk specifically about visual effects. It isn't my forte, but it's always interesting to see. I just like to see how things are made and like what professionals think of, you know, the specific things and what their thought processes when creating these sort of things are. Because like they're like obviously certain things are unintentional, but there's also a lot of intentionality to things that we just don't think about. But when they aren't thought about fully, we know it's off. We just don't know why it's off. But when it's thought about, we just kind of accept it. We don't think about it too much. But that's the crazy thing, is these people put so much thought into what they do that may just blink by for people. They're just not going to notice. I mean, SBK Yapper tier list, maybe S tier for real. It would have been awesome in Dominion. Dominion was pretty cool. I watched Dominion a little bit, especially after Viking joined, because like obviously that's my friend, my buddy Viking. VFX artist directed is such a goated series. Yeah, they have a lot of videos too. Yeah. I do like when I come by and I have dinner with y'all. They like you sometimes just put it on. Like I just like that is the fun thing about having like friends who like share are grossly interested in some of the same things that I am. Is it's always nice to just like come by and then we just kind of yap about like super nerdy things. I love being a nerd because I could just talk and talk and talk for hours about these things. And then a lot of the times I learn something new out of it. And I always like learning new things. I always like, sometimes I like not knowing because sometimes that means I will be knowing the next time. Like be not knowing, but know at some point. Right? Every Saturday, I think I've missed maybe 3 or 4 episodes that came out 6 years ago. Wow. Yeah. Little Enderman guy. Man, that would work so well for my lore, but yeah. Dominion was a cool series. It's unfortunate that it wasn't able to really get it was kind of unfortunate that it ended. I would have loved to have been part of it too. It's such cool ideas. I've never actually tried the Origins mod, not gonna lie. But like, it's really awesome being part of SBK. Like, it's a lot of it's very lore centric. Obviously, like the basic premise doesn't have to be like. What I love about Skyblock Kingdoms is the premise is simple, and it's also very open ended in a lot of ways. I see a lot of different approaches for each member, and it's always interesting and it keeps things fresh. Like, that's why it's so amazing, because you have so many different POVs to choose from, and everyone brings something different to the table. And that's what I've been enjoying about this series, because I get inspiration from everybody else. And, you know, it makes me believe, like, it makes me really, truly believe that I bring something unique to the table. But, like, you know, I'm always inspired by the others on this server. And it being very lore centric too is amazing, because it helps me learn about, you know, what I can improve in my own stuff. Like, obviously there are certain things that like the tough thing about my lore is that obviously it can be a little bit confusing for some people. It's definitely not for everybody. I will say, I'm not trying to make it for everybody. I'm just trying to make it for the people who want to watch. And the people who want to watch, they will be there. And, you know, I have high confidence that they will enjoy, because like there were times where I made decisions story-wise where I was so nervous that it was going to be the wrong decision, but like all those nerves and anxiety disappeared as soon as I released it. And then like people are like, oh my God, this is so awesome. I'm like, oh my God, yes, it worked. I didn't think it would work, but it did. Like I didn't. There were times where I was like, "Oh God, I don't think this is the right decision." Like I was really nervous about what I was gonna do with 331. My plan was always to keep him alive, but I wanted to do something that would shock people, and my decision to faux kill him off was always kind of on the cards, but I was very nervous about him showing up in the Void World with the current Mig Omega. I just didn't know how that would fare, because I'm always nervous about the whole like trope of like, this character, is he really dead or does he really die, and not really being dead. Like that's what I was most nervous about, because I always hate that sort of trope of like fake out deaths, because if it happens often enough, it becomes very, very, very annoying. Like even like bringing back Mig Omega as Bamboo Mig, but obviously that character is still obviously dead in some capacity. Like he is forever going to be staying in that location. He will never be able to return as Mig 526. So it is kind of a permanent thing, but obviously it's not a full death because he still has influence despite it. 331's death shocked me so much. I remember gasping out loud. Low-key, one of my favorite scenes of lore in SBK. Aw, thank you. Yeah. I was very nervous of how I was going to do that. I was like, very like, oh, I need to be delicate about this. Trying to learn the number. 331 is the gray announcer one. Yes. Why did he betray 621? Well, I can't reveal anything about that yet because that is spoilers. But let me just say that not everything is as it seems. Just because something has some sort of like explanation doesn't mean it's the full truth. Sometimes certain things you have to try to figure out contextually and try to visually see what characters are doing. We got layers. It has layers. I can't do a Shrek voice. I can't do it. I can't do it. Oh no, I'm not remembering what they did with an SR3. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Yeah. Yeah. But not everything is always going to be as it seems with storytelling. Saints Row 3? Oh, okay. I should probably sleep. I think I need to get another barrel. Not quite, but we will soon. I need to start making like a storage room underneath. Yeah, I enjoy how 331 was doing the intros and then he got killed. I was like, what? No, yep. Shaking it up a little bit. I was always planning to like have him be like removed from the picture somehow. But like, I also didn't want to actually kill him off. But there was something, like, because here's the thing. I had to have something happen after 222 miraculously escaped for a moment. And I also had to figure out how 621 would react to it, because someone had to be the culprit. Someone had to be. And 331 was an easy target. Now, let me just say this. And this is something that I like... I may have not communicated well enough, but there's no actual certainty that 331 was the actual was the actual reason 222 escaped. That's not saying that he didn't, but there's no certainty. Those barrels would smell awful. Let's just say 621 had to find someone to blame, and he's the only one he could blame. Now, you could have your theories, because all will be revealed later. But for now, that's all I'm giving you. Feather Falling 4 book? What? Would be the best way to get caught up on your lore. You know, I have a playlist that has like a bunch of like lore bits. It doesn't explain much, but it gives you kind of a general premise of like certain things going on. Hold on, let me pull up the playlist. I have it unlisted, and I do have a lore document that I have pinned in the MIG lore section. So if you want to read up on that to kind of get a general sense of what's going on, it is a long read. It did take me like 2 hours to read just through without the stream, but then it was like a almost 4-hour stream. So yeah, let me just pull that up. So that's the playlist. Was it Migbot for real? I'm not gonna say anything. It had to be somebody though. But as far as we're aware, Migbot couldn't do it because he's loyal. He's loyal to Mig Prime. And currently, 621 is Mig Prime. So there's no way. There's no way. It's not possible. Was it Duvid in the foyer with S uncrustable? What? There's so many theories now. Theorize away. Theorize away. I have so many things up my sleeve. What are we even talking about now? You just had the Duvid meal. Yeah. Actually, yeah, guys. Big secret's out. It was Duvid. Duvid let him out. Duvid just randomly stumbled upon the Cosmic Venator and just like was like, oh, look at this guy. He looks like he wants to go out and play. So they just let him out. I'll have to watch that playlist and read the lore document. Yes. It will be kind of confusing if you watch the videos first. I mean, the videos are literally just like the lore scenes as they happen. They don't like the majority of them don't explain the larger story at hand. They just kind of give you little nuggets. And the lore document is kind of like expanding on those small things. Yeah. Duvid. Duve. The Duve. The Duve in the vid. But yeah. But I will say, I the one thing that really I love doing as like a storyteller is using the inspiration from stuff that I've watched. And let me just say circling back to the beginning of the stream, Iron Lung has given me so many ideas. It's given me so many ideas. My brain's just like exploding with ideas now. Can anyone other than Mig travel to the Cosmic Venator? You know, here's the thing. This is one of those things that I actually haven't thought about. I would lean towards no, but you never know. That's why I'm leaving that one specifically open-ended as like a scenario, because I don't want to just create a rule that limits myself from interesting storytelling. let's just say it's an unprecedented thing because no one outside of the collective knows what the collective is. They don't know that every MiG that they've seen, every different skin of MiG that they've seen is a different MiG. They don't know that. The idea is to give the illusion is that they're all the same person. The reason why that is, I don't know yet. Maybe that could be an interesting storytelling thing, but that's not something that I've specifically thought about because that's not what the point of the story is. It could be an interesting premise for a later story in the MiG storyline, but it's not something that I think I'm like necessarily like, I'm not against the idea. I just don't want to do it right now because I don't want to complicate things yet. You know, because I feel like that would get complicated at this point in the story. For now, nobody outside of the MiG collective itself knows the collective exists. It is non-existing for everybody else. But that's not to say that that's not possible. But it's not something that I want to delve into yet because it's not the story I want to tell yet. It's definitely it would be interesting though. I will say it would be interesting. Like it could shake things up for sure at some point. Power 4 and mending. That's not a bad bow. It has 1 durability though. That's kind of funny. That's 1 durability. I could heal it though. It's really easy to heal. I could just do this. Kind of related, but the dragon egg being named Mother's Egg is such a nice deal to the old Omega and the fact that every MiG is part Enderman. Yeah, that was just supposed to be like kind of a subtle reference. I thought it would also be kind of funny. I thought like it was definitely something that had like a comedic element in mind to it, like the idea that it's called Mother's Egg. I just thought that was funny. I don't know why. I just thought it was funny to call it that. Because like I couldn't just call it the first Ender Dragon Egg because that would just feel too generic, and then also like being part Enderman is kind of a reference. It's not something that I ever dive deep into, because it's not really relevant to the story. It's just a nice little extra fun fact and kind of adds to the like mechanics of the MiG. But like that's why I like certain things I don't want to over explain because I think the story doesn't need to be over explained in some regards. That's something that I add an element to for the people who really want to dive deep into it. Is what I think it kind of is, you know. I don't think everything needs to be explained. That is it's a literal Easter egg. That's literally just a literal Easter egg. Another Feather Falling 4 book? Are you kidding me? I got 2 Feather Falling 4 books in 1 session. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. I won't ever need these, hopefully. But that's kind of crazy to just pull. I think we'll keep going until this bow's fully mended. The waters want to protect your fall. Yeah, exactly. The waters are giving my the waters are saving my ankles. They're protecting my ankles from breakage. But yeah. Yeah, these types of streams are fun. I don't know how I managed to yap like this. I've seen questions like that from people starting streams like how do you just talk for an hour and a half? And I'm just like, you know, I kind of just go with what my brain does sometimes and start a topic of conversation that my brain is actively interested in, and then just go on side tangents forever. Seems like the hating water part of Enderman didn't make it to MiG. That's why I'm mixed. I'm a human Enderman. Don't think about what the implications of that are, because I haven't thought about that myself, and that's horrifying to think about. Efficiency 4. Wow. Meg can also see pumpkins too. Wait, can Enderman not see pumpkins? Because talking is fun. Yeah. I like to yap about subjects that I'm grossly interested in. And sure, maybe a story about a bunch of different versions of me may seem a little bit just egotistical. Oh, you like talking about yourself. But no, this is not about me. This is about the storytelling, because that's what I like to do. And I just like explaining the process, because I think the process is interesting. I like one of my like I said, like one of my favorite like things whenever I buy movies like physically, and that's why I want to buy more movies physically, is behind the scenes is so fun, especially when you get like a full documentary out of it. Like one of my favorite things to watch was the Revenge of the Sith, like behind the scenes stuff, like the extra DVD disc that you got. Cause like explaining the process of how they like plan the story and how they plan the look of everything. Like initially Anakin, they had a concept art of him being like bald with like a strand of hair, like a mohawk, which would have been way too insane. Sitting on the storytelling rug for story time. If a player wears a pumpkin and wears Enderman, players can't see them. Oh, okay. Story isn't a word anymore. They cannot see jack-o'-lantern plays. Oh, okay. They can't see them. I just thought that they didn't see their eyes. I just thought that, yeah, like I just thought they didn't see their eyes, so they ignored them. They didn't think they didn't see anything looking at them. They just saw like a vague outline of a face, and they didn't see anyone actually looking. I always thought it was just like the specific like stares trigger them, and when they don't see the eyes, it just doesn't like hit the same for them. That's how I interpreted it, at least. But yeah. I will say though, I'm always intentionally like looking down like this slightly, and I've been slowly like as I go on, I've been slowly trying to make more eye contact with people in videos, and it's kind of been an intentional thing because I've always used to just look like this. But like I've been more trying to get this character specifically more comfortable with like actually like looking at the players who's talking. To kind of like kind of like establish the ideas that you're like, just because your nature is to like be averse to eye contact doesn't mean that it can remain that way. You kind of just have to train yourself on it a little bit, and it's tougher for some people than it is for others. For a long time, I couldn't make eye contact with people when talking to them. I've gotten a little better at it, but it's like it's one of those things that's like really, really tough to get over. And I don't think it's necessarily something you need to get over. I think some people just need to accept the fact that sometimes people conversate with people different ways. Like I still sometimes don't look at people directly sometimes when I'm talking to them. And I don't know why people get bothered by that for some reason. I don't know why. People get like really annoyed when you're not looking directly at them. Like they think you're being inattentive, but like, no, I'm listening very intently. I'm just not looking at you. My eyes aren't my ears. My ears will do the listening. My eyes just do looking. People think that the moment you look away from them is like you stopping paying attention. And that's really annoying to me, because like you are insulting my ability to pay attention. Sure, I have a tough time, but when I'm intentionally trying to listen, I'm not going to just space out just because I'm not looking. But all I'm saying is that when people talk at me for a little too long, sometimes I do space out a little bit, and I need them to allow me to have room to respond in certain spots. because otherwise I'm going to just completely space out after a certain point. That's why I hated lectures in school. I hated lectures in school because if you have someone talking at me for hours without me having any sort of response in any way to it, I will tend to just completely space out. Then I just have Asperger's and struggle with eye contact. Exactly. It's uncomfortable sometimes. Yeah. I can do it, but like it's like one of those things that I really had a tough time getting over. And sometimes I still look away because sometimes the eye contact after a few seconds though, like I have to look away and then look back because if I look too long, I'm just like, yeah. I have to need to turn off my eyes to focus on what people are saying. Like something, this is how I listen to people. If like, this is a funny thing because if I actually am eye contact for forever, that is uncharacteristic of me. And at that point, you've lost me. I'm spacing out. I'm just looking in a direction. I'm not particularly looking in your eyes. This is me when I'm not paying attention. And this is me when I'm paying attention. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Like that's what it is. Like if I'm actually like, it's actually really funny because if I am actually looking at someone for longer than 5 seconds, that means I've spaced out. I've lost you. My best friend is like that, and that led us to some funny conversations. Sometimes looking takes more power than intentionally listening. Yeah, exactly. I don't tend to make eye contact if I can avoid it. Yeah. I just tend to like I just tend to listen better because like if I'm focusing on trying to make eye contact, I'm not listening. is exactly what you said. Like sometimes I'm like looking into space while I'm listening because I'm just trying to focus on the listening part and not necessarily at like looking at that person because like sometimes what they're saying is what is a little more important than what they're doing. Because yeah, some people will talk with their hands, and when they do that, I'm focusing on their hands mainly. If they're trying to demonstrate something, I'm not looking at their eyes. I'm looking at their hands while they like talk with their hands. So that's in general too, because like I'm part Italian, right? And my mom's Italian, and I have to listen to her talk a lot, and sometimes she talks with her hands, so I'm focused on her hands when she's talking. That's just how it is. So that's another reason why I don't do eye contact, because I'm just paying attention to other parts of your body language. Because your eyes may be telling a little bit of a story, but I think the rest of your body also tells a bit of a story as well. Yeah, it's someone less likely to be listening. Sometimes I turn my ear towards the person so I can hear them clear, which I think they sometimes find rude. Yeah. Genuinely, I never realized how much I don't make eye contact when I talk to people till now. I don't know why it's easier to listen that way. Yeah. That's why, like, when I work customer service, when my bosses tell me to make eye contact with the customer, I'm like, nope, not happening. Because then I look like a crazy maniac. Like, here's your food. This is me. This is my customer service. Yeah, here you go. I can't smile. I just have to go, okay. Like, this is my customer service. Like, I'm not trying to look like, I'm just trying to look neutral. I don't need to be super energetic because it just doesn't require it. I'm not going to waste all my social energy on talking to a random person about what they want in their freaking chicken sandwich. I don't care. I'm not wasting all my social energy on that. I'm going to do what I need to do, and I'm not going to go the extra mile on that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just have, it's just too much for me to try and like use my social battery on that crap. So if I'm like listening to a conversation happening around me, I'll just kind of stare in between one or two and the other people talking. I love talking with my hands. Yeah. That's why I've been like, it's been so hard for me to just play game and yap, because it's like, I'm like talking with my hands. The Italianness is coming out of me. You can even hear it in my speaking voice. I'm talking like this. I just slip in so naturally. The funniest thing is I'm not even a New Yorker. It just happens. What's really funny too is like, I have a very different like stream voice compared to my regular voice. And like, because like I talk very dynamically because I'm doing like a presenter voice in that sort of sense. You know, I'm speaking like this is like a TED Talk. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, by the way. But I always speak dynamically because I feel like it holds people's attention a little bit longer. But like when I'm just having like general conversation with friends, I tend to talk like this, and like I do get energetic, but it's like it's not the same tone of voice though. I don't know. Like the thing is, I can't slip into that sort of speaking tone when I'm streaming because the thing is like I'm a sailor. I swear a lot. Like I'm really good at toning it down for content. I've trained myself to like switch modes. Some people like to call it code switching, which I think I'm actually pretty good at. They call it code switching, which like a lot of people do. Like some people like when they're at home with their family, especially if they're like specific, you know, like let's say they're Hispanic or like otherwise, you know, they could start to slip into like a more like accent from their heritage when they're talking with family versus when they're talking with their friends versus when they're talking like let's say at their job as like in customer service, or maybe like me, like a content creator. I talk completely differently. I'm still the same person. I present myself differently in different scenarios. And I'm comfortable with this, but I'm also comfortable with being that me talking to friends outside of content creation, you know. My first TwitchCon, I had a nervous breakdown and should just shut down and log up. Oh, that's unfortunate. I'm very sorry about that. The trick of looking at something on the person's face, not quite the eyes itself, but with my horrible audio processing, I tend to look at the people's lips. Yeah, that's fair. Presenter service voice is much higher than my normal talking voice. It's not even like higher for me, but I would say for me, it's more dynamic. Because yeah, I'm reaching those lower tones, but then I'm also like going up and down with it with my like inflection. Because like I think there's like a certain importance between like just the words themselves that you're saying, because like the language itself is important, of course, of how you're speaking, because how you convey things can kind of convey the weight of what you're saying to other people. But like the dynamics of it also make kind of like how you enunciate things, what words you put importance into also is important, and how you're presenting something. So like I think language and communication is more than just the words that you say. It's how you say them and how, like, you know, your tone. Because if you talk like this is a monotone voice. If I talk like this the whole time, do you think that you would be interested in what I'm saying? Do you think that you could handle this for an hour and a half or 2 hours? Obviously, most people aren't that like monotone. Most people, I've ran into some people that are like so monotone that like it's genuinely grating to the ears. I'm sorry to say. We have like 3 different voices we tend to slip into: general Nutritone, customer service voice, and active higher end is generally perkier, I guess. The higher energy tone we use on call with friends. Yeah. Yeah. And as you can tell, I have a tough time doing my inflections when reading because I'm not focused on how I'm saying it. And that's why like why Twitch streamers have a tough time reading like out loud is because we're trying to read the words and we're just trying to read them quickly so that we can, because like sometimes chat moves fast and sometimes, you know, other things. But like you also want to try to get the message, and sometimes we misinterpret it because we're kind of rushing. And then we also don't use our presenter voice when reading it because we're so focused on trying to understand what they're saying. Because I'm reading this for the first time, and when I read things for the first time, I will make mistakes because words, when they're in this sort of like line of text, and especially when they get a little longer, like that's not to say like don't send long messages. If you have something to say it. It's just like even like reading novels is tough for me. That's why I think that the creation of the audiobook has been one of the greatest things because it helps so much. And that's also why I read manga too, because sometimes I want to just listen to music while I'm reading. Manga is great in that regard because I also like the visual medium, and I think in terms of storytelling, I like that sort of mix between like visual and text, like contextual, like the words. I think the mix between the two can be very, very, very well done, and seeing and reading it can be really, really good to like helping build a sort of great uh great amount of like media literacy, like because like the relation between the two can be very important. And sometimes I have a tough time with books because sometimes I have a tough time visualizing things. I that's why books are hard for me, because like I could read something and kind of understand the gist of what's happening, but like when they start explaining like a world, my my view of things can sometimes completely miss the mark. But like when I'm reading a manga, sure there's pictures, but sometimes obviously it doesn't show every motion, so your mind kind of fills in the blanks, and that's easier for me to kind of follow in my own head. Great audiobook to listen to is the Da Vinci Code. So fun to listen to. Yeah. I definitely want to try to get into more novels. It's just not my forte is the problem. It's like I've read a couple, but like it's always tough for me to try and understand what's going on, purely because like my sort of imagination kind of creates its own idea of what's happening and kind of misses points that are critical to understanding what the world is about. So sometimes I completely misunderstand the point of things. And that's my own fault and something I need to improve, but it's also just an obstacle for me that I have to kind of like get over, and it makes it very hard for me. But I do think storytelling in general is a very important thing, because in a lot of ways, whether intentionally or unintentionally, it really gives us an insight to our own psyche in a lot of ways, especially well-written stories, because human nature in a lot of ways can sometimes carry over to different things without us even realizing. And under like understanding stories well is also understanding ourselves well, because then we can kind of like if you read enough stories, you start to see the patterns in your own life, and not just your own personal, like your own actions and patterns, but also just in the patterns of others and like societies, like I'd say I think it's more important now more than ever to read George Orwell stuff. I think it's more important than ever to understand that and all that stuff, because it could vary. Once you really dive deep into it, you can really understand like the state of our own world and and how things get to where they are, because of how it kind of recontextualizes it in its own world and how it reimagines it in its own world, you know. But it's always interesting. But I also think stories can be like heartwarming as well. I think storytelling can also like make you feel good. I think feel good stuff is just as important as stuff that makes you think about the state of humanity and like human psychology and human decision making and things that we do very wrong. But I also think there are stories that are like feel good. And one of the ones that one of the ones that I think is kind of really good to watch, like it's kind of like, oh, it's a superhero movie, but I think it's a really good watch because I think it's a very good way to kind of it's an important movie because it somewhat tackles real world elements in some ways, but it also gives an element of hope, and that's Superman 2025, the James Gunn one. And there you can levy some criticism towards it, but I think it balances that sort of like real life stuff that happens and how evil the world can be with if you have like it teaches a lesson. If you have the strength to do something, and have the power, don't just do it. Inspire others to use their strength for good too. Like, be if you have the strength to be a good person and have the if you have the ability if you are a good person and have the strength to help others, don't just use that to just help others. Inspire others to help and show that there is a good path going forward. And I think that's a very important message, and I think that's a message that we should all learn, is that there's going to be people who are on our side, for sure, that are just hopeless. And I think that's important to, give others, the courage to do the right thing for others, but also just to believe that there can be a better tomorrow, And I think that's what that story embodies the best. I think it's very important, especially in times like these where everything feels uncertain. There's a lot of scary things that we need to show that we have the strength to do better and to create a better world. And that, helping others isn't cringe. Being sincere isn't cringe. It's great stuff, We live in this weird culture of for some reason being sincere is oh, it's not that deep. It is that deep. And I feel deeply about a lot of things that people might find silly, but dang it, I'm going to feel that way because I believe that we can do better. As a species, I think we could do better. And I think that's why I really love that movie, because it gave me a realization that it's not just about helping others, it's inspiring others to also follow you in that endeavor. And using your strength for kindness. And being a kind person. Yeah, I think both have their importance, but I think there's been so much of this dystopian stuff that it makes the world feel hopeless. And I think a balance of hopeful stories that remind us of the good we have the power to do, and what we have, and those type of stories that remind us of what humans can be and who we should be wary of and pay attention to the world around us. Don't forget the evils of our world, but don't let them overtake our spirit. Check DMs for a sec. Okay. I don't know how to help you, dude. All I'm saying is I've dealt with that for years and I haven't been able to do anything about it. You're on your own, bro. Dude. Okay, look, we'll talk later. We'll talk after my stream. I'm probably gonna end very soon. But yeah. That's why storytelling is one of my big things. It's one of my favorite things, because I like sometimes I don't like the same things other people like. Some people might call me a filthy casual because I don't follow the super intellectual stuff, but I just think that there's value in all different types of storytelling, and one doesn't invalidate the other. What movie were we talking about? Superman, the latest one. Yeah. I'm just talking about the balance between dystopian stories that remind us of our reality and how things can very quickly become, really bad in society. But I also think there's value in stories that show us that despite the chaos, there's good in all of us. Are you a punk rocker? Yes, I'm a punk rocker. I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am. But yeah, I genuinely this is something I could talk all day about. I could do a 12-hour stream where I just talk about movies, every different type of movie. You know what? Honestly, I'd be so down just to have a movie review, type thing where I kind of just go deep into one things that I interpret from it and things that I enjoy about it. Cause there's movies that are not the greatest movie ever that have things that are genuinely just fantastic, just in terms of like the storytelling, that make me think. I like the Superman. I like the Superman movie. Yeah, it's really good. 1A, 1A, 1A. Yeah, but genuinely though, like this is the type of stuff that tickles my brain in pleasant ways. As you could tell, because we're at hour 2 and I still haven't stopped yapping about movies. Yeah. That's why that's why like I'm so grateful to Markiplier, because like it reignited a flame in me that like I kind of didn't have for a bit, of like storytelling that is just different. It doesn't have to all be the same blockbuster stuff. It's fun. I love Marvel movies, but I don't want every movie to be a Marvel movie. I want weird stuff. I want contemplative stuff. I want bombastic stuff for sure. And I also want weird, ethereal, existential crisis type stuff. I want mind F stuff. I want stuff that'll make me go, what the heck? I want bad movies too. But like not like corporate bad movies where there's so much studio meddling that it just turns out bad because writers are just scrambling to try to figure out what the heck they're doing. I also want human mistakes. I want bad movies that are like, oh, I had a funny idea. It's kind of like, it didn't turn out well, but it's also just still about Iron Lung. I only just re-mentioned Iron Lung just a second. It has been going on a journey. I talked about my lore. I talked about what was it? We were talking about relevant stories like 1984 George Orwell, and then we were talking about how Superman is has a very helpful message about how we can all we can be the example to others to help other people, and remember that there can be a brighter tomorrow when we just look to each other and try to bring each other together to help others when we have that strength. You know? I missed lore convo? Yes, you did. Well, technically, we had a detour in the middle to talk about how needing to make eye contact sucks. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, we had a little bit of a side tangent about eye contact because I was mentioning about the Enderman eye contact thing in the middle of the lore combo. Curse me getting distracted. Don't worry about it. All right, we have ads in 10 seconds. It's going to be 3 minutes of ad to get rid of the pre-roll ads. Anybody coming into the stream will not get immediately bombarded with ads. So grab a snack, use the bathroom, do whatever you need to do, and we'll be back after the ads. I'm also going to sleep because Lagundo needs to light stuff up. I always miss lore chats, but I mean, we could always circle back around. All I'm saying is I am just so excited. I'm so excited. I guess one of the things that we did hit on is the Skyblock Kingdom Season 2 finale is going to be a semi crossover with Last Survival. So I'm going to make a Last Survival video soon, and it's going to have some lore elements, but there's going to be a crossover event where a lot of the stuff that happens on Last Survival is not going to matter to the Last Survival series. There might be a build that shows up that might be just a side thing, but there's going to be just a lot of Last Survival just like setting stuff in terms of the storytelling to wrap things up. But yeah, so like planning for like around an hour and a half finale for Skyblock Kingdom Season 2 to wrap the story up, because it's going to be a big thing. I was here for that, yeah. But then, yeah, everything beyond that is like just yap. I don't remember half of it. Ha! Ha! Funny me. I can't remember where I was in that trail of conversation. I forgot half of it. The normal. All right. I think we'll just do some yapping while I run around SBK. He did the thing. Ah, this guy stinks. Oh, I don't want to put that away. Oh, I don't want to put that away. Holy crap. I want to actually keep this bow. I think we need more barrels. Oh my god. I've been doing so much fishing. It's not even funny. Sir? What? Oh shoot, I'm not even. I forgot to set my status. Oops. Oh god. Okay. Okay. This is a grounder. There's a grounder thing happening. Okay. Man. I wonder if Mig is live. Shut up. Okay, I need to make. I'm gonna make like 3 more barrels. This bow can just go in. I guess tools. I don't know. Those aren't bad pants. I don't remember. Yeah. You know, it's just an I can't say words sometimes. Though it's just an inevitability. See, whenever I have to do like that's the other thing too. Okay, so I'm gonna say this. Certain lines are so hard for me to say. I'm trying to think of a specific example. But like I remember, I guess now I remember it. Like just recently, some of the stuff with Migbot in the latest episode, I actually struggled to say some of that stuff. Like it was actually really hard for me to like enunciate it correctly because I have to remember this guy's a robot. He's not going to make mistakes pronouncing things, you know? So I had to do like 20 takes of Migbot's dialogue before I got any of it right. That's all I'm saying. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. I know it's long. Many lore. There's actually a lot of lore in the latest episode. It's actually like the most lore I've done in season 2 so far. I plan to. Dort. Oh my god. Look at how much gunpowder we have, guys. We have a lot of gunpowder. Oh my god. And then oh, we have 2 rows of sugarcane, 2 rows of shulkers. Oh, I get the name now. What is Dort? So there's some there's a wind charge launcher that uses breezes, and the breezes are named Dort. So basically it just loads up a bunch of the breezes wind charges. And then when you hit a pressure plate, it launches them at you all at once so that you like fly up super high. And if you miss your jump after getting hit by it and you land, it's going to give the message like X player was doomed to fall by Dort, because that's what the breezes are named. Intrigued by the rewind effects that happened in your video. I'm not gonna lie, I just thought it was kind of funny. I don't like certain things. This is why I'm always careful about certain things. Like honestly, I didn't think that it was gonna stir up that much conversation, but silly me, I should have known. But honestly, it was just kind of a funny effect. I just thought it was a funny effect to do. Sometimes when I'm editing, I get carried away with myself and I'm like, oh, he does this thing. I want to do this sort of funny effect. But like, you know, that's not to say that I'm against the idea of Legs' stuff affecting my lore. It wasn't something that I had in mind at the time. We're all lorehounds, Meg. I haven't been very locked into SBK, Dort breezes, yeah. Chat will never look over potential implications. Yeah, that's actually honest. That's mostly my bad, because I'm always like being very sly about how I do things and like giving implications for what things could mean in the future. So I have created a culture of potentially overanalyzing certain things, and that's my fault. So, I will just say, just point blank, I had a funny idea, and I just did it. And sometimes that's all things are. Just funny ideas. Not meant to be anything more. But, you know, I'm always open to ideas. Because remember, I'm always yes-anding. Especially with legs. I will yes-and us straight to hell. I will. Look at the things. Go watch Colby. Yeah. Nami, y'all have fun. Over analyzing is fun. Yeah. Sometimes I'm careful though, because here's the thing. I think there's a certain point where you overanalyze past the person who made the thing. Because yeah, I do have implications for things, but sometimes I just do things just because they're funny. Because it's funny. Like the less serious bits, sure they might have lore implications, but like, and there's obviously a comedic element to the like random space out moments for 918. But like when I there's a certain point where like the stuff that I play seriously are the things that you really want to overanalyze. You can make a note of the things, the silly things, but like the stuff that you want to overanalyze are the things that I'm like actually fully like being like overtly serious about. He's the ARG guy, yeah. I'm too smooth brained for ARGs. Same. I can't wrap my brain around some ARGs. Some of them are just too intelligently made. I'm just lost half the time with some ARGs. And that's a credit to him. Oh my god. But yeah, that's basically going to be it for the stream tonight. I just wanted to do a yap stream. I didn't have anything in mind in particular. That's why I didn't care whether it was Hytale or Skyblock Kingdoms. Because either way, it was just going to be a yap session. That's why I was so indecisive too. Because I was like, I could go either way really. Because I don't know. But yeah, this was my designated yap stream where I just talk about stuff. And, you know, those are always good streams. But yeah, that is going to be it for the stream today. We're going to go, I'm going to go somewhere safe. Which is over here. Sky Yap Kingdoms. Yeah, we love the yap streams. Yeah. I like yapping with y'all. I like yapping with y'all. All right, I think let's go raid legs. Let's go raid my island partner. All right. Let me just pull everything over. I think really quickly though. I think I'm just gonna pull this up. Yep. Thank you for the stream. Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming by. I'm glad y'all enjoy me talking about just random things my brain just wanders to. Oh, I didn't mean to bump the mic. That's my bad. All right, let's if you are subscribed, make sure you use this raid message. If you are not, that is a-okay. Just use this raid message right here, raid 2. And we're gonna go /raid Legundo, who looks like he's opening Pokemon cards. I don't know anything about Pokemon. I know Pikachu. And that's about it. That's all I can remember. I'm sure there's more that I could pull out of my brain if I was actually trying to think, but like I'm just all right, I'll talk to you guys later. See you guys on Friday for some Friday night carton. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you Friday at 9 p.m. EST. Bye-bye!